Satish, Satish, my voice is audible. Can you hear my voice? Okay, so we'll start. Okay, in the last week we have studied regarding the types of carburetors. Okay, different types of carburetors. In that we have studied regarding the vacuum choke type carburetors and the vacuum type carburetors. In that we have discussed regarding the Solex carburetor as well as the xanthan carburetor. So these two carburetors are the choke type carburetors. Now today we are going to see the vacuum type carburetor as well as one more the choke type carburetor is there, that is the Carter type carburetor. Okay, and vacuum type carburetor and SOA carburetor. So these two different types of carburetors we are going to study now in this class, and by these two concepts we are going to wind up your model number 4. Okay, now let us go with the Carter type carburetor. This is one of the choke type carburetors. Okay, it was basically designed for using a jeep. Okay, cars or jeep vehicle. Okay, and it is an so jeep company I am telling about, not that Mahindra jeep we have seen in the India. It is a jeep company of an American company. Okay, for basically they have designed for their all vehicles this type of cater carburetors. Its name is, this is a choke type carburetor, and they have given the name for this one as a cater type carburetors. Okay, now this is what the simple diagram of this cater type carburetor you can see over here. Next diagram I show. So see, each and every carburetor works on the three conditions. The three conditions of a vehicle has to fulfill by the carburetor. So what are the three conditions? In previous class also I have explained. Once again I will tell you. So the three conditions are cold starting and warming. Okay, cold starting and the warming is the condition. Accelerating is the condition. Third one is an idling. Okay, so what do you mean by these three conditions? Before going for the explanation, I will tell you that what are these three conditions. Previous class also I have explained. Now also I will explain regarding this one. So see, these are the conditions on what basis the carburetor should work, and the working principle of this carburetor should be designed or been worked on these three conditions. These three conditions should be fulfilled by the carburetors. Okay, so the cold and the cold starting and the warming. So see, what do you mean by the cold starting? In the winter season, if your car is been uh, doesn't car is been in not in used, or it is not the engine is not in the use for near about 2 or 3 4 days. Okay, so in that conditions, when you suddenly go and start in the early morning your car, so the car doesn't start as soon as possible. Why? Because the air and the fuel mixture which has been due to the atmospheric cold condition, it has been evaporated. No what you can say, the idle or the saved air fuel mixture is collected in the carburetor as well as the engine for ignition purpose. Okay, in SI engine, that is the main problem which occurs during the cold engine. At that moment the maximum rich fuel air fuel mixture, high percentage of the fuel uh, with the low percentage of the air is being supplied to the engine, so that the maximum amount of the fuel can burn and the engine can start as soon as possible. This is what the cold condition in which the engine should be start. That supply of the high rich air fuel mixture is been done by the carburetor. Okay, the carburetors should be designed in such a manner. Now in the warming condition means what? Once the engine is running at a normal speed, once the engine normal speed, when you increase the speed, when you accelerate the engine, okay, by the paddle, accelerating paddle, to increase the from 60 to 70 kilometer per hour, 60 to 100 kilometer per hour, 60 to 120, 200, 300 kilometer per hour. If you are increasing the speed of an engine, that is a warming condition of that engine. At that situation, the air fuel mixture at a high percentage to supplied to the engine, because the suctions and the delay sparking stroke, suction stroke and the delivery stroke is been rapidly moving, and the rpm of the engine is also in a faster movement. In such a situation, the air and the fuel mixture should be rich, very much rich, the ratio should be very much rich supplied to the engine. That is the one of the condition that you have to see. Now next one is an idling condition, normal condition. Okay, so normal condition is that 20% of the fuel is consumed between this condition, normal running, only the normal range within the economy. Economy means what? In the bicycle you have seen the green marks they have given in the speedometer, or as well as in the car also the speedometer is a, where is the green mark? That green marks is nothing but the economy mark. Economy marks means on a normal speed, 30 to 40 is the normal speed in which know the movement of the accelerator. Only at the constant speed the car or the bicycle is been moving, at that moment a normal range or the constant amount of the fuel and the air is being supplied to the engine over there. Okay, so this is how the conditions has to be satisfied by the carburetors to supplying the air fuel mixture to the engine. Now over here you can see the accelerating movement is there. In this accelerating movement, what is happening? The maximum fuel is to be supplied to the engine to increase the speed of an engine, or gradually you have to increase the speed of an engine. So gradually you have to supply the more air fuel mixture as well as the fuel to the engine. So these are the three conditions we are going to see by the help of a diagram how does the cater carburetor works. So see, this is a 2D diagram over here. In the color diagram you can understand what are the parts and how does it works. Okay, before going to the working I will explain some of the constructional. Hello, it is my voice audible? Hello, just reply in you. Okay, so see okay, okay. So see, this is a color diagram. I will just have taken a snap from the YouTube for explaining you. So how, let us see the construction features. How the what are the constructions and the different parts of the carburetors are being used. So see, these are the different types of carburetors are there, which are been just the working of that carburetor is same. What is the basic principle on what the carburetor works? The mixing the air fuel mixture. Okay, so this is one of the important point. Okay, keep in your mind, what does the carburetors do? It supplies the air fuel mixture to the engine. This is the first thing that the carburetor should do. Now there are the some condition, just now you have seen the cold warming, acceleration, normal condition, idling. So in this condition the percentage of the air and the fuel is been changed. Okay, the one time the air is been more, the fuel should be less. One time the fuel should be more, the air should be less. Okay, so on this the ratio of the air fuel mixture changes. Okay, on that basis the carburetors are being modified as per the time comes. Okay, in a different time, different periods or different decades, there are the changes should be occurs in the carburetors. Okay, the modification is occurs in the carburetor to achieve these types of condition more efficiently. Okay, conditions means what? The supplying of an air fuel mixture to the engine during this condition, so that the slightly the changes of the carburetor has been done, but the principle of the carburetor is same. What is the same? That is mixing an air fuel mixture and supplying to the engine. Okay, so let us see the simple construction of this cater type carburetor. Now you can see over here there is an fuel tank is there. Okay, in this fuel tank there is a floater, you can see over here. As this fluid decreases, the floater also come down. Once the fluid increases, so the floater is been moving at a upper side. So this is called as a floating chamber, okay, and this is the main fuel tank from where the fuel is been entering into this floating chamber, okay. Now this is a metering rod is there, okay, it is called as a metering rod or compensating device, so we can call it as a compensating device, okay. So this is also play an important role, and this is the main jet from where the fluid is entering to this orifice, or you can say the air form cleaner or the air mixture line, okay, or you can say it is a main venturi, okay. This is a main jet and this is a starting jet, okay. So these are the major component, bluster venturi, and this is an accelerating jet, main jet, starting jet, and compensating device, okay. So this plays in different roles in different conditions, okay, for supplying the air fuel mixture to the engine. Now you can see over here there is an accelerating pump over here. This is a slight modification done in this carburetor, that is this is an accelerating pump, okay. In this pump there is a spring is been located in this spring for the compression purpose, and over here the paddle, accelerating paddle is been given, okay. This paddle is directly connected to the accelerator, accelerating paddle where the driver is operating, okay. Driver is operating by his leg, the accelerator is there, that accelerator paddle is connected to this pump over here, and the spring is there in this pump for the compression of the or for generating of the pressure, okay. So this is what the simple construction. Now let us see the different conditions on what on that different conditions how does this carburetor works, or we can say how the air fuel pressure sorry, air fuel mixture is supplied to the engine, okay. Now we'll go with so this is a 2D diagram, okay. This is a 2D diagram. In the textbook I have scanned this one 2D diagram. So this, if you are comfortable for both the diagram, any one diagram you can draw and explain it, okay. Now you can see over here the cold starting and the warming, okay. To engine to warm, okay, to heat the engine in the cold condition, how to start, okay. Now you can see over here in the cold starting, okay, when you start the engine in the, if there is a four-wheeler, okay, there is a semi-automatic choke is there, okay, which when you start it, the choke opens. Once the choke opens, the air over here, once the choke opens, this choke is been opened and the air starts to enters within it, okay. So this is a closed one. Before applying the engine, they have shown in the diagram. Once the start the engine, this choke is been applied, this choke will be open over here, okay. Now when this choke is been opened, the air starts to enter into this venturi. Now this you can see in this diagram 3 and 5. So this 3 and 5, these are the two venturies. One is an primary venturi and second one is an secondary venturi. Now you can see in this one, third one is an primary venturi and fifth one is an secondary venturi. Now how does the fuel supplied over here during this purpose? Now in the cold condition, the maximum fuel should be go and the less air should be go for the combustion purposes, okay. In this moment, what happens when the air is supplied to the venturi, the suction force is generated. For example, if you are taking a straw pipe you taking for drinking and cold drinks or coconut water, okay. So when you suck to that straw, the cold whatever the drink is there, liquid is there, that comes in your mouth and you starts to drink over there. Like same position, the suction force is generated over here. When this air passes over, the suction force is generated with this main starting jet. Okay, this is what the starting jet, it is called as a starting jet. The low pressure is generated here and the fuel starts to enter in this venturi. Okay, then the air and the fuel mixture is been what you can say mixed with each other by the atmospheric conditions. Okay, and passes through the throttle sides. Once you start the accelerator, okay, the throttle valve opens and the maximum quantity of the air fuel mixtures enter into the engine, okay, during the suction stroke. So this is how the Cater carburetor works during the cold and the cold starting and the warm startings. Okay, now next we will go, this is a normal. So see, in the normal condition what is happening over here, you can see in the diagram. In the normal conditions, as the accelerator is been given, okay, the choke wall is been opened over here as well as the throttle wall is open over here. Okay, the maximum air and the maximum uh, fuel is been stuck over there. Okay, has been enters into the cylinder during the suction valve. Once the accelerator is been given at a normal speed, the suction of an air is been done by the choke wall. This is the choke wall is open, suction of the air is done, and from the main straight lines the air is been entering inside the throttle wall. So this is a constant ratio. What is happening over here? So see, same procedure is there, but over here the constant air and the fuel ratio has been maintained in the normal conditions, and the speed of the engine is also constant over there. Okay, so because of this, the suction force which is generated by the engine, okay, when the suction stroke is happened, okay, at that moment the air and the fuel mixture is sucked from the carburetor. Okay, but it is in a normal condition, the normal speed is been taken by the piston, so the at a normal range the suction is been done. Okay, so this is how the in the normal condition the Cater carburetors works. Now next we'll see accelerator. So see, this is an accelerator. Accelerator means what? Once you put the pressure on the accelerator, when you push the accelerator by your leg with of the car, what happens? The car speed starts to increase. Once the car speed starts to increase, that means what? It requires more fuel, air fuel mixture to burn the combustion stroke, and so by which the piston can reciprocate in the faster rate than the before it was. Okay, so the during a 60 kilometer hours, what is the piston movement is there, that will increase when it reach to the 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, for that movements of the piston, the maximum air fuel mixture should be there, so the combustion will occur, the blasting will be occurs, then the piston movements can do rapidly. Okay, for that conditions what is to be done? Okay, and how the maximum fuel will be supplied to the piston at that condition. So see, so this is the normal condition from the main jet where the fuel is entering inside this to the cylinder, and over here there is an extra modification is done or the attachment is given to this carburetor, that is an accelerating pump. Okay, so this is called as an accelerating pump. So in the color diagram you can see over here there is an accelerating pump is there. With this accelerating pump, the extra amount of the fuel is being supplied to the engine, so that during the acceleration or the increase in the speed, okay, so the more maximum amount of the fuel can burn and the blasting may occur inside the engine, by which the movement of the piston can done rapidly. Now let us see how does the acceleration is been done. Accelerating pump is working during the acceleration movement. Okay, so you have seen the normally whatever the fuel is coming from this main jet and entering over here, that is been carried out by with this help of this accelerating pump. What is happening? Okay, when the accelerator is been pressed by the driver, the pump is at this paddle is attached to that accelerator lever below the leg of the driver. Okay, as the lever is been applied it, okay, this pump is been this pad is been compressed over here. Okay, over here there is one more fuel chamber is there, or you can say the floating chamber is there, in which the extra fuel is been supplied by the main fuel pump. From this main fuel tank, it is also supplied to this fuel chamber also. Has with the help of the spring over here, the diaphragm and the spring is there. With the help of the spring, what happened? The compression is generated. By this compression force, the pressure is generated within this floating chamber, by which the fluid with a high pressure through this accelerating jet. So this is an accelerating jet enters into the main venturi. Okay, over here the percentage of the air is less and the fuel is been more. Okay, this type of air fuel mixtures enter into the engine, and the maximum amount of the fuel burns during the when the speed of an engine is at a high level. Okay, as you increase the speed, okay, accelerating condition. So this is how the air fuel mixture is being supplied to the engine. Okay, so these are the some of the conditions, okay, on what the engine is in work. Now let us go with an idle condition. What do you mean by the idle condition? So see, you are having a bike or the car moving in a road. Okay, suddenly the signal is been given on that road and you are stopping your car. The signal is for the 2 or 3 4 seconds or the 5 seconds. Okay, or normally 15 seconds. So in spite of totally offing the engine, okay, engine to be off, just what you are going to do, you are neutraling your car or the bike, but the engine is been running over there. Okay, the neutraling, that means what, you are disengaging all the gears in a neutral condition, the engine is in running. At that moment there is no output given by the engine. That means what, the wheels are being not rotated, your car or the bike is having no movement, but the engine is in start. That condition is called as an idle condition. Okay, in that moment, what in that idle movements, the percentage of the air fuel mixture supplied to the engine is very less. Okay, because there is no output given by the engine, very less is been given, okay, to the engine. Air fuel mixture is given to the engine. So at that moment, how the supply is been given in a small quantity of the air fuel mixture. Now you can see over here there is a starting jet is there. Okay, starting jet you can see over here, and there is an idle screw. In this, the venturi meter, what happens, the air passes through this choke is been closed in the idle condition, there is no use of the choke, so air is being passed over here. From when the air is being passed through this venturi, it enters to the main jet. Okay, when it enters to the main jet over here, okay, the compression force is generated, by which the liquid from over here, from the floating chamber, enters into the starting jet. Okay, with the air fuel mixture. From this it enters into the throttle valve. So over here the accelerator is not given by the car, by the driver, so this throttle valve is not operating. Okay, when this accelerator is not given, the throttle valve is closed, so the maximum percentage of the air fuel mixture is been stopped over here. Okay, and it's idle. I will show you in the 2D diagram. You can see, 1 minute. So see over here the total valve is cold at a point 9. You can see over here at a point 9 the mixture is coming from this point 9. Okay, or the point 9 position. Okay, at a small amount the air and the fuel mixture enters into the engine and supplied to the engine to run in an idle condition without any load. Once you give the accelerator, that means what, the accelerator is given, the speed starts to increase and this throttle valve opens and the maximum percentage of the air fuel mixture starts to enter into the engine. I hope you have understood the different conditions on what the carburetor works. Okay, cater type carburetor. So this is a choke type or carburetor. Now we will study the last carburetor, that is a vacuum type carburetor. Okay, so see, this is what the accelerator condition is there, in which you can see in the yellow mark they have shown the fuel supplies. Okay, now this is a vacuum type carburetor. This is the last vacuum type carburetor. Okay, or this is called as an SUV carburetor. It is an example of constant vacuum type carburetor. So what do you mean by the constant vacuum type carburetor? There is a constant vacuum is been there, a constant flow is there of an air fuel mixture, but only the walls are being controlled by the other means, that is a vacuum piston mean. Now let us see the different parts. So you can see over here there is a jet sleeve is there, number one, okay, which is connected to the fuel tank. Number two is a metering needle. This is a metering needle which moves up and down, which is connected to the piston. And number three, you can see this number three is totally complete the piston assembly. And number four is the throttle valve. Okay, you know the throttle valve opening and closing is done by the help of the accelerator. Number five, this is a number five is a suction disc. Okay, number six is a suction chamber. This is a chamber over here where the suction is occur. And number seven, okay, this is a number seven where the suction hole is there. Okay, I will explain this how the working is been done. Now number 8, this is an atmospheric hole. You can see at the side there is an atmospheric hole is there, okay, where from the air pressure is been entering inside. And number 9, over here there is a spring which is attached to the piston assembly for the movement of the piston in upward and forward direction. Now number 10 is an petrol orifice. You can see over here there is a small orifice is there, that is called as an petrol orifice jet. Okay, now the piston guide rod, that is a number 11 over here, the number 11, this is a piston guide rod. Means what? It helps for the movement of the connecting rod. It works like a connecting rod, help for the movement for moving up and down. Now number 12 is an oil. Number 12 is an oil dashboards. And number 13 is an plunger. Plunger is nothing but the piston lifter. Okay, now let us see next slide, in which okay, now let us see the these are just now I have told the construction. Now let us see the working of this one. Okay, so see, this is a simple carburetors. Okay, in this carburetors all the three condition, cold starting, warming, as well as uh, cold starting, warming, as well as accelerating are been carried out in a single working procedure. Okay, there is no any other alternation or the modification is given over here. Okay, now see the simple working is there of this one. So over here this is an choke inlet. That means what? The air is been entering inside this by this wall. Okay, the air is been inserting in this carburetor by this side, and this is the throttle from where the air fuel mixture has been going to pass. Now how does it works? So see, there is a piston which is connected with an metering rod. Okay, there is a piston which is connected with an okay, there is a piston which is connected with an needle. Okay, this is a metering needle is over here. So see, when the suction stroke occurs in the engine, when the suction stroke occurs in the engine, at that time what happens? Okay, as when the accelerator is given, okay, the throttle valve is opened over here. by the help of the accelerator. When the suction stroke is given, it is directly connected to the engine over here. Okay, it is directly connected to the engine. So this is what the engine is there, in which the suction stroke is given. During this suction stroke, what happens, the suction force is generated. Okay, during with the help of this suction force, the piston is being compressed over here. Okay, compressed over here, but you can see over here there is an 8 that is called as an natural oil hole. Natural aspirator hole is given over here, from where the atmospheric air is being supplied. Due to help of this air, the suction stroke is over here. Okay, what makes it, makes that pistons to moves in an upward direction. When this pistons moves in an upward direction, with the help of this piston, the metering needle is there. Okay, the metering taper jet is there. You can tell is a taper jet or the metering needle. It also moves with the help of the pistons, and the air over here which is coming from the choke, okay, carries the fuel which is coming out from this opening jet. Okay, that is called as an opening jet. Okay, from where it enters into this venturi, with the help of this air fuel get enters into the throttle wall. So this is how this is how the SUV carburetor works. Okay, so this is a simple construction and the working of this SUV carburetors in both the condition. Okay, either in the cold warming and during the acceleration. Only the speed of a suction depends for the working this of this uh, SUV carburetor. So it is a vacuum carburetor. So within this vacuum, only the percentage of the air fuel mixture is been what you can say calculated or mixed it over here. So this is this type of carburetors doesn't have the result, as so far you have studied the Solex, Catet and Carter carburetors. Okay, for compared to that, it is not giving the much output SUV carburetors. Okay, for that reason these carburetors are not much widely used. Now you can see one 3D diagram I have shown, trying to show you over here. So see from over here the air is entering into this carburetor. Okay, and from this at the bottom you can see over here the fuel tank is there, from where the fuel is being sucked. When the piston is moving at an upper side, when the piston is moving at an upper side, the fuel is being sucked and enters in this vacuum. Okay, by the help of this air fuel mixture, the fuel is being passed by the help by the opening of this throttle wall. So you can see this is a choke wall and this is a throttle wall. Okay, by the opening of this open wall, the air and the fuel mixture enters into the engine over here. Okay, now during the suction stroke, what happens? So see, you can see over here there is a suction is generated. With this suction, the piston is been sucked to move at the upper side. You can see the piston is moving at the upper side by the help of this suction stroke. So suction is been done. Okay, the air is being sucked over here, which makes the piston to move at the upper side during the suction stroke. Once the piston moves at the upper side, the fuel jet is being opened from this fuel tank and suck the fuel and enters into this venturi, and the air fuel mixture will pass through this throttle wall and enters into the engine. I hope you have understood this type SU type carburetors, vacuum type carburetors. Now dear students, today I have completed all the concepts of your model number 4. So we are going to wind up your model number 4 over here. So you are having any doubts regarding any of the concept in the model number 4, please comment you on WhatsApp group. So we will discuss in the next class same thing. Okay, otherwise we will go with the model number 5. Okay, so in the next week I will conduct the quiz test on the model number 2. So be prepared with the model number 2 and study the model number 2. Okay, thank you for joining the class. Have a good day. Be safe. Stay safe. Okay, students.